In 2008, when social media marketing started to rise, it seemed like a jungle, an untamable and exciting enigma. So we took our ad budgets and ventured in. Since then, the jungle has seen vines come and go, businesses grow, apps chopped down, disappearing in a snap. The whole time, small businesses were trying to make sense of it. Could we measure social media's effects? Were we having any impact? Were we making any money? Well, 10 years on, social media marketing is more confusing than ever. Over 96% of law firms have a presence on social media, but only 7% of them think it's responsible for bringing in clients, which means law firms are still lost in the jungle. What if the answer to effective social media marketing starts before we hit send? What if a little planning and personality can get us through the jungle? Let's find out.
Lawsome, the podcast for law firms. Powered by ConsultWebs.
Welcome back to Lawsome, the only podcast for law firms that celebrates the mundane and shuns the Mondays. We're here to inform, educate, and entertain the legal community on the latest in personal and professional developments. I am Jake Sanders, your co-host for today, and joining me, as always, is Paul Julius. Paul, what's shaking in your earthquake zone?
There's so many different ways to go with that, Jake.
You can go, there's scales. There's a Richter scale. There's, that's really the only scale that matters.
Agma, I could say. Is that shaking or that's just bubbling?
That's a tectonic statement. It needs.
There's definitely geo phenomena happening in my earthquakes.
Girl, I like the size of your Badlands. I don't know. There's a geological dirty talk here. Like I'm staring right at your isthmus.
Let's Jake, why don't we take this offline?
Okay. What's on this show today?
On the show today, we visit the ABA Journal and talk about social media marketing for law firms. We interview veteran marketer and current website and content strategist for the Ohio Bar, Dan Beckley, and we place Dan under the scope with 5 questions we ask everyone.
Pull up a plate. It's the Hot Takes Buffet.
The story today is from abajournal.com. It's Specialists Show Lawyers How to Use Social Media to Advertise Effectively by Danielle Braff. Quick synopsis here. Lawyers have been embracing social media in many different ways to connect with clients, community, and as a way to drive awareness for specific like mass torts and stuff. This stat is important. While 96% of law firms do social media, they have a presence on social media, only 7% believe that it's responsible for bringing in clients. Not surprisingly, most law firms do poor social media marketing. Instead of building relationships online by engaging in conversations or interacting with prospective clients, they are overselling their services and work. What's your thoughts, Paul?
My honest thoughts from my experience, most lawyers suck at social media.
Is it because the topic sucks?
No,
I
don't think so. I think there's a deeper thing in here though, where they say, only 7% believe it's responsible for bringing in clients.
No, that's huge. That's the deepest. Yeah.
But there's more where it says currently 67% of lawyers are managing their own social media.
So it's like you're complaining about the bus while you're driving it.
And the problem is, I don't expect everybody to be good at social media.
Well, guess what? They're lawyers. I'm busy doing law stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's some sense there. It's like, well, how are dentists at social media? Or like,
sure.
You could run it through any profession, just kind of sticking up for our friends. But yeah, particularly in this article, they just kind of say most law firms they're not taking advantage of all the possibilities of social media.
You're exactly right. And I think, we've both kind of seen this where, you'll go to a law firm's Facebook page and it's all just in an accident. Call me.
Or here's what you need to do if you've ever been in an accident.
Yeah. Like our dentist. And the thing is, maybe I should check it out because I don't know. Our dentist like teeth dirty? Call me.
Here's what to do when your teeth fall out.
But that's not social, and I think that's the point. That's what we're
Interesting.
kind of missing here, is that that's not social. You're just telling people
It's an advertising. You're thinking as an advertiser, which is okay,
Yes.
and you need
Mhm.
to think like that.
Mhm.
But
there needs
maybe
to be a
not.
ratio, right? You
I
need to
like-
balance it.
In my personal social media stuff, when I did personal social media consulting, it was the rule of threes. 33% is general stuff about culture. Then 33% of what you share online is about specific stuff within your industry. And then 33% is selling your stuff. But you have to be able to maintain a ratio, or else people just get tired. If social media is sort of supposed to mimic a conversation, they say, they're not engaging in conversations. Look, most people don't want to be in a conversation with you. They want to be in a transaction. Like, do I need you? Do I not? So they're going to your social media to kind of check you out. If social media is supposed to mimic conversation, what would it be like if you talked to somebody who could not stop talking about their own business?
Well, I think you explained it to me really well one time, where you said Twitter is like a cocktail party.
Right.
And could you imagine someone walking into the cocktail party and be like,
Yelling.
"Hi, Paul Julius. Were you in a car accident? If you get into a car accident, give me a call. Hi, Paul Julius. Were you in a car accident?" Like,
That's what I'm
that
saying.
that guy's gonna get kicked out.
Right. Forcibly, or we're going to feel sorry for him
Yeah.
and not tell him that he has a problem.
That's a good point.
Don't bother him. He just keeps rattling on. He thinks it's
Just-
conversational.
Mute him. Just mute him. It's Twitter. You just mute him. It's a good point. But so what do lawyers do, man? I mean, like, some people they're not comfortable with that. They don't understand that. Maybe
Everybody
I'm not on Twitter.
knows, but everybody knows that they need it. But
Yeah.
not only 7% are think that it's responsible. So the point is they talk about it's what you share, how you share. We talked about ratios right here. Not always talking about one thing. Mimic a real conversation. Let's talk about topical things. I'm in this place. I want to see topical conversations. So get in there. How can you get in there? You got to be smart in the way that you do it. And our guest today, Dan Beckley, who does social media for the Ohio Bar, is unreal about tapping into that pop culture. He writes about injury claims in Netflix shows, parental claims in the Star Wars universe. Like, does Darth Vader have a claim to Luke and Leia? Like, that's really fascinating. And you get to explain the law to someone through a familiar construct. Real genius way to approach it. So this article is good. It outlines the realities. I would suggest everybody go and check it out, because this is an opportunity for you to differentiate from the competition, and you can do it for free. Or you can find somebody who can help you do it at a low cost, because what it is, it's creativity and sort of a way of finding the conversational nature to translate the educational aspects of your law firm.
It's a great way to differentiate yourself from the competition, like you said.
Easy.
I mean, I think everybody's going to be looking you up. We all know that informational searches, once people are looking for a product, they're going to check you out on LinkedIn. They're going to check you out on Facebook. And that's where you have a chance to maybe connect with them.
Yeah. And if all you're using is your colleagues and competitors as an example of what you should be doing, then all you do is you just look exactly like them.
Yep.
I think that's maybe the most important part. Like, what's industry standard? Well, it's what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
Let's see if you could go over standard. How can you be outstanding? So that's the goal here. But everybody knows they need it, and nobody knows how to use it properly. So Dan dropped some science on us, and we should go to the interview and check it out.
Let's go check it out.
Boom.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
We're getting updates on that developing story where a local law firm was buried in leads from the internet. We go now to our own Stacey Williams, who's live with the details.
Chaos. Seen here outside a prominent law firm where just hours ago, a digital marketing campaign from ConsultWebs went live, burying the entire building in clicks, calls, and leads. A few paralegals managed to get out. but some of the staff are still stuck inside trying to sign all of the cases coming in.
I mean, it seemed like right after the first call came in, we couldn't keep up. Qualified lead after lead came in. We were ranking higher than ever on Google by 10 in the morning. The likes on our Facebook page exploded by noon. My mom, my own mother, called the firm asking about a blog we wrote last week about handling insurance adjusters. And that's when the chats came in. The chats. Oh, the chats.
It wasn't until I tried to head out for lunch that I noticed the leads were starting to come into the windows on the second level. Our receptionist started to tie together extension cords to create a rope to lower herself to safety. But I guess that's when the banner ads went live, and I blacked out.
Oh, wow. So it appears that the leads are lightening up a bit. Here comes more of the staff making their way out from under the heavy curtain of leads. Sir, can you tell us what happened? Should lawyers hire ConsultWebs for their digital marketing agency?
Look, I'll just say this. We were not ready for the leads to come in so heavy and consistently. If you're marketing your law firm online, call ConsultWebs, but just be prepared for it to go better than expected.
Go to www.consultwebs.com to learn more.
And now, for a lawsome interview.
For the past 3 years, Dan Beckley has been the website and digital content strategist for the Ohio State Bar Association, and his hilarious and engaging content is one of the reasons we log on to Twitter every morning. With a long history of managing publications, teaching print design, and writing and editing, Dan is a creative workhorse and believes that creating and delivering engaging content is key to establishing brand identity and trust, gathering influencers, and finding new customers. Dan, welcome to Lawsome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Just going through the articles that you've written, they are so amazing. And it's really engaging, good content that circles around the legal field. You've written stories on the Ohio State Bar Network about parental claims in Star Wars, wrongful death claims in Stranger Things. How would Lego Batman adopt Robin? What's your thoughts on what it takes to create standout content online these days, and how do you think lawyers can adopt this?
Well, yeah, I mean, the reaction has been awesome, and it's been very gratifying to use entertainment and storytelling to try to flesh out and reimagine our most popular content. What lawyers can do, I think, is use data. We here at the OSBA, I look at Google Analytics every month and try to figure out what is our most popular content, kind of have a catalog of that in mind, and then kind of see what's trending in pop culture, what's trending on Twitter, and combine those two aspects with those creative articles. And once we have that creation in place, I like to employ what we call the CCEE method to make a great social media post. And that includes communicating clearly, collaborating, having an aspect of education, making them care about what you're writing about. And then the fourth element, which I think takes it to another level, is entertainment. I think that's what sets apart these articles from other ones.
You said the reaction's been awesome. Have you heard directly from lawyers that are, what's the direct response for these things? And how did you clear it with writing that? I'm assuming that you have a boss or you just walk in every day, owning the place. But how do you kind of convince somebody that you want to do it? And then how has that reaction been?
The convincing has been fairly easy because we have a really entrepreneurial spirit here at the OSBA where they're very open to something creative, something new. And actually, it's opened the door for me to collaborate with members and using some of their content ideas, some of their feedback to get more popularity for them and for referrals. As far as my favorite reactions so far on Twitter, besides you guys saying that my content has sizzle, when I posted the Stranger Things article, that talked about the deadbeat dad, Lonnie. In Series 1, he came back home to try to file a wrongful death claim because he thought his son Will had passed away. Fleshed that out, went through the process of what would need to happen if he took that to trial. posted that to Twitter, put the hashtag Stranger Things, and the actor who plays Lonnie, Ross Partridge, responded and said, "Thanks for the advice, OSBA."
That's huge.
That was the most epic response. I was so excited. I had to email everybody. It's what you really live for as a social media manager.
Yeah, well, and it's weird too. I'll tell you, and not throwing shade on any state bars here, but it's odd to find such humor, and hip attitude and funny content on the state bar Twitter.
Seriously,
it's been a pleasant surprise, and I mean, I love it, and I hope that you're seeing some good interaction and connection, and it's helping people to maybe pay a little bit more attention to some of the more serious things that the Bar Association does. But I got to say, it's not just you. It seems all of a sudden, the bars are hilarious. Have you seen this, and what can you attribute it to? What do you think of the future of the State Bar Association and social media will be? Are we just going to be making lawyer jokes here, or where are we going with this?
So I was having a conversation a couple months ago with the New York State Bar and the Florida State Bar on Twitter, and we were talking about something silly, and all of a sudden, who shows up but William Shatner? William Shatner. Captain Kirk.
That's validation for you.
And he says, "Is all you guys do all day is post GIFs?" So it was a very surreal moment where the state bars are talking to Captain Kirk. I feel like the turning point maybe happened for us at least 2 years ago. The Law Prof blog, a popular personality on Twitter that you guys have probably run into.
Oh yeah, I love Law Prof.
He wrote an article called "State Bars Stop Being Stodgy and Boring." So within that, he kind of bemoaned the fact that state bars were just emailing and posting on social about upcoming CLEs, renewing their membership, and it was just really blasé. But then he called out us, the Florida Bar and the New York State Bar, and said, "Wow, these guys are doing something different. They're doing a refreshing stream of information and entertainment. They're posting stuff that's legally interesting and legally crazy too." But I think using humor, it's kind of a direct result of bars like us starting to use social media correctly. Because I think there's been a huge shift in the past couple years of how consumers interact with brands. You can't just throw out your product and hope that people buy it. You need to establish a relationship, have your consumers experience your brand. And one of the ways you do that is through social media to build that brand identity, that brand trust. And we found you can do that through early stage educational content, which is actually, the main thrust for those creative articles.
We walk that line here at Lawson a little bit as well, trying to mix in the humor with the serious. But I'll tell you, we see it with law firms as well. And I would hope that maybe lawyers and law firms would be looking at you maybe as a bit of an example of what to do right. Because we see a lot of times where lawyers are just using social to just post and, "Hey, do you have considering bankruptcy, call me, or whatever." And that's not social. You're just harassing folks.
I think that social media has changed a lot since it's shown up, but I think there's content principles that will never change. Content principles that are true no matter how you transmit them. But when you're talking about clearly communicating, collaborating, educational, entertainment, those are some of those concepts that are forever around content. What are some other aspects that you've brought from your previous life, copy editing and all those things? Like, what are some content principles that are true nowadays and they will always be true?
Well, I think you're right. Some people, especially in the dark days, I guess, as you would call it, social media was just kind of a checkbox. And you would post and pray and hope that the gods of social media would bless your post. And it would be shared and it would be retweeted. But you're right. Now it needs to be an essential part of every content marketing strategy. And it needs to be within your content calendar and all those other processes you use within marketing. We found that you can reach a whole bunch of different new audiences through social, not just your niche audience. I mean, Facebook, that audience is community focused. LinkedIn, that audience for us wants a professional development slant. And then there's Twitter, and they want something humorous and engaging. They want video. They want to be entertained. So I think the ability to reach audiences with great storytelling has never changed. And now we're trying to transition that not just from posts on the internet, but to social to make it more engaging, to engage your audience. I mean, this has bled into really every aspect of our marketing strategy. Our CLE promotion videos even try to tell a story with something that's trending within pop culture. I mean, we've done some on Star Wars, Mission Impossible, March Madness, and then I think you guys have seen the Danny Pay's video.
Yeah.
The video where I parody the legendary Billy Mays. I sell CLE as not only an educational product, but something you can clean countertops with and chop salads with.
It's just that right amount of absurdity and just at the right time. You know? So, Paul, you had a question about Facebook.
I do. You know, Facebook seems a little beleaguered lately. We've noticed it ourselves. I know personally, I am preferring Twitter more nowadays. Any thoughts on the recent data breaches and whatnot that have come to light with Facebook? And, you know, has it changed anything for you? Are you seeing interactions dropping off? Are you seeing people, you know, abandoning the platform as a whole? Like,
interesting.
Any kind of off the cuff thoughts?
Well, we've found that really Facebook, you know, is not dead. It's not dead in the water, in our opinion. I mean, it still has 2 billion users. And I really think you really still need to try to reach that audience. The most engaging post for us on that platform has been video. And as I've said, it's really driven toward a community focus. Our most popular videos on that channel are consumer facing, which is great for our members, because if someone needs a lawyer, they're going to think of that video on Facebook they saw of that lawyer being featured. I mean, we've done member profiles of members. We've also done Law You Can Use, which is a sit-down interview on a trending topic in an area of law. So we're still finding engagement on Facebook, even through organic.
God, it's been so brilliant. But, you know, my whole thing, we go back and forth, is it's not necessary. Enthusiasm, that extra reach for a joke, you know, that extra reach into some kind of esoteric, eclectic place where maybe you might lose an audience. You're not being very general here. You know, when you're talking about parental claims in Star Wars, this is only going to be exciting for certain people. But there's something about talking directly to someone and then putting a little bit more, just a little bit more, that finishing touch. It's like you wrote the piece, but could you make it that extra effort? And like that Danny Pay's stuff, that video, completely unnecessary. Which is great, because that's what it is. That's great advertising. It is not necessary for us to go into a Coke bottle to discover that there is a magical fairy world of all of these things. And someone's like, bro, we sell soda. What are you talking about? You're like, yeah, no, but that's not the point. The point is to get them lost, get them engaged. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I want a Coke. You know, so you watch that Danny Pay's video and you're like, what is this? Clearly, this legal seminar cannot clean oil off of a countertop. But the fact that you have, you know, somehow anthropomorphized and put everything in and created products for services, I mean, it's just that extra level that is completely unnecessary. Like, I can transact information. I am a lawyer. You should hire me. We are a state bar association. You should join us. And you could do that, and it checks the box. But that extra spin, that extra English, that extra absurdity, that extra funniness, like something that's like, it just reaches out and slaps you. Who writes content like that? You know, and everyone says there's no way that I could compete. You know, and I think a lot of lawyers are worried because, well, maybe they're not interesting. Maybe they want to do a joke about Downton Abbey, and that would even be just as good, you know, but they're worried. They're a little bit hesitant. They don't feel like they have that personality. My question here, and this is the last one, but if you were at an airport chopping it up with a lawyer over drinks and you had to leave right then to go catch a plane, and you had to tell that lawyer just a few sentences on how they could use social media to help grow their firm, what would this simple advice be?
Well, a great person once said, and that person was Yoda, do or do not, there is no try.
Yep.
I would say, please stop posting for the sake of posting. I mean, if you have a strategy, if you have a purpose behind your law firm, then follow that and use that within social media. And I would also say you are the subject matter expert in your area of practice. You can show it with your original content. And then you can also repurpose and reimagine your most popular content on your site and just reimagine it as a video, reimagine it as an infographic. You have evergreen content on your site. Just keep trying to be creative to put your name out there. And one other thing, I know social media isn't the only thing that lawyers do. It can be overwhelming at times. But we talked about earlier how state bars have really upped their game. And state bars have become social influencers. So consider becoming a member of your state bar, because we can help lawyers amplify their voice through our member profiles, through other uses of video, through our various publications that we also repurpose and put on social. So consider that, consider state bars, and consider other social media influencers. Find them, establish a relationship with them, and that can only help grow your brand.
Man, I love it. Now, here's one question. Since you've taken over, and I don't know if you have these, Ohio isn't mandatory. It's what's it called when it's not mandatory?
Non-mandatory.
Voluntary?
Yeah, voluntary. That's good.
I was going to say disinmandatory, but I
Just make up a word.
So it's disinmandatory. But have you noticed signups go up since you guys have taken over social media? Because this is just brilliant content, and I'm doing whatever I can to share it, but I just want to know if it's increased, membership, maybe, year over year. Maybe we should take a look at that, because I don't even live in Ohio, and I'm not even a lawyer, and I want to sign up for the state bar.
Yeah, membership has gone up slightly, but I'm in the social media realm, mostly looking at those types of stats.
Sure, yeah.
And in May, we actually had over 330,000 views. Now that's organic, stretching across all of our social media channels.
Wow.
And then of course our consumer-facing content has gone up. We get about 2.5 million page views for our public-facing content, which usually is written by a member. So the process is that someone's Googling DUI or wills and trusts, and then they'll stumble upon one of our pieces of content. And then if they need a lawyer, guess who wrote it? One of our members. And then they can click on their member profile, and there's an instant referral.
Just to maybe make sure that we cover all the bases here, anybody out there who's listening, who's thinking about joining the bar, aside from what you just mentioned as a scenario, what are some of the other benefits and services and stuff that the Bar Association provides?
Well, we provide very high quality CLE from practitioners that practice in Ohio, that are in the trenches. There's a lot of CLE competitors out there that are offering, run-of-the-mill, really cheap CLE that really isn't quality, that won't get you what you need. But we offer high quality CLE at a discounted price. We also have CaseMaker, which is our online legal database, which is free for members. We have the OSBA report, which is a daily publication that people will get via email that lists a whole bunch of case law for that day, news clips, jobs, and of course various other publications and other emails. In fact, one of our emails, The Brief, which is targeted toward younger lawyers, just won an Apex Award for redesign.
Excellent.
Nice.
So we have a lot of different things that lawyers can take advantage of.
Well, we could keep going, but we can't because there's a time limit to fun. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But the fact is, you are so brilliant, and you're absolutely right. Florida, New York, and Ohio are really, really killing it. But you in specific, the work you guys are doing at Ohio Bar is just phenomenal. And from a content marketing perspective, and from a legal marketing perspective, and just an engagement, and just the internet is such a waste of time, you know, and the fact that there's somebody making worthwhile content that you can sit down with, laugh, have a chuckle, learn a little bit. It really is just so, it's like heroic, man. It really is like a heroic thing.
It's not all a waste of time.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, when people look at the internet, they're like, ugh, you know, but that's how people create content for the internet. Like, ugh, you know, and Dan isn't doing it. I ain't trying to do it either, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just goes to show that it's completely worth it. And I am so thankful for that. And it makes the internet great. Like, you actually make the internet a better place with your content. That's rare. And most people can't say that. So I just want to say thank you. And, you know, it means a lot. And I'm really glad to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks so much for those kind words. We have a great team here, a great marketing and communications team that works really hard, and we have a lot of fun. We have epic brainstorming sessions, but it's really all about the members and helping them with their practices.
Dan, how can people learn more about you?
Well, obviously, you guys need to follow us on Twitter. We're at OSBA. Connect with us on LinkedIn and Facebook. Just search Ohio State Bar Association. And we're actually rolling out a new website. We're deeming it the new digital engagement platform.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to roll out hopefully the end of September. And you can find that at ohiobar.org.
Five questions we ask everyone.
Number 1, what was the last book you read?
The last book I read was End of Days by James Swanson.
Nice.
It's a look at the JFK assassination. It's very good.
Cool. Check it out. Number 2, what's your favorite place?
My favorite place to be is wherever my wife and kids are.
Nice.
Nice.
Totally get it. Number 3, what sites, blogs, newsletters, or podcasts do you regularly check in with?
I really like NewsCred, their blog.
Mm-hmm.
Hootsuite, which is a social media management platform. They put out a lot of good content. The Content Marketing Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you guys need to check out thelegalgeeks.com. Have you heard of them?
Oh, yeah.
They put out a lot of great content, kind of similar to the creative stuff I put out with a pop culture slant looking at legal topics.
Right on. Number 4, if you were stranded on a desert island and could pick only one condiment to take with you, what would it be?
I would have to go with bacon bits.
Nice.
Because I'm assuming the only thing to eat on an island would probably be like something like leafy greens. So you got to make it kind of tasty. And if I'm going to die within a couple days, I might as well have bacon.
Yeah, so real. So real.
Such an awesome answer. Okay.
The most
Number
real.
5, and we've made the end here. After a long day or a long week at work, how do you relax and unwind?
Oh, I mainly watch movies and read books. And actually, one of your podcasts earlier talked about how there's this kind of stigma about disconnecting from your phone, and that how you should do that. And I just really want to suggest to all the listeners, make sure that, especially for social media managers and marketing professionals, it's hard to disconnect. So take a couple hours out of the day. If you're upstairs, make sure your phone's downstairs. If you're downstairs, make sure your phone is upstairs. And that really helps me to kind of refresh and reset.
For show notes, links, and info, go to thelawsonpodcast.com or follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Be sure to leave us a review and rating in iTunes or wherever you find the you listen to. Until next week, stay lawson.